Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Healing Brain. This is our webinar and podcast here at Domen International that we do every week at this time, where parents from around the world join and ask us their biggest and toughest questions about their children with special needs. I've got a very special guest today, Klisha Peterson. I'm going to be introducing Klisha in a second. My name is Spencer Doman. I'm the director of Domen International. Domen International is a nonprofit organization that empowers parents of children with special needs with holistic solutions for their child. And so we have Klisha joining us today as a mom, but also as a new author. Klisha has written the book Great Victory. You can see I have a bunch of tabs there, Klisha, because I've just finished the book, and it's a great one. And Klisha really documents her experience as the mom of Maya. And a part of the book is talking about her experience with the Doman Method, but it really is a kind of memoir, autobiographical account of what her and Maya and her whole family's experience has been like. So I really look forward to asking you a lot of questions, Klisha, about the book. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you for having me today, Spencer. Thanks so much.
It's a pleasure. So let me just start, if you don't mind, reading something off the back of the
Okay.
book. So it says, 7 days after welcoming their firstborn, the Petersons were racing to the emergency room, watching their baby go limp after a sudden brain bleed, a grade 3 hemorrhage, a
Mhm.
coma, a question, is my baby going to die? When what followed was a journey no parent could prepare for: blindness, surgery, seizures, months in the hospital, and a medical system that didn't always have answers. So, why don't we start there, Klisha? When what was the moment that you knew that Maya had a problem?
The morning we woke up, she was crying, and I only had her for a week, right? So, but I do know babies, and I know their cry, and I knew her cry, and she wasn't consolable. Usually, for the week that we had her, if Daddy would walk around with her, she would stop crying. So she was crying, but it sounded painful. She would cry and stop, cry and stop. And so we said something's wrong. She's not stopping. So we called the pediatrician, and they had us have an emergency appointment. And when we got there, oxygen was fine. Everything was fine. Everything looked fine until her eyes started to bulge at the pediatrician's office. And the doctor said, "Oh, she's a new mom. You're just You're a new mom. She's transitioning." Which I don't know what she would be transitioning into for her eyes to be bulging. That was alarming to me. And so she just sent us home with a clean bill of health. She said her oxygen looks great, everything looks fine. I think you're just panicking for no reason. So
You know, Klisha, I didn't even think about saying this to you. You've probably never heard this before, but when my grandfather used to teach, my grandfather Glenn Doman, he used to always do as part of his initial course at the very end, he'd say, okay, parents, I'm just going to talk to you about for 5 minutes about signs of intracranial pressure. And he said, listen, for
um,
99% of you, this isn't going to ever apply, but I will sleep better at night if I know you know this information. And one of the first things he'd discuss was bulging eyes. He'd say, if you see bulging eyes, your child has increased intracranial pressure. It's a sign of hydrocephalus. Um, so that's
man,
interesting. So the doctor missed that.
I have no idea how she missed that
Yeah.
because it looked strange. I have nieces and nephews that I help raise, and I know that I've never seen any of them with eyes bulging. That's crazy to me. So we went home, and she just wouldn't eat that day. And then then she vomited a little bit. And we said, oh, maybe because her stomach was hurting and that's why. And then she was in Martin's hands, my husband's hands. And then she went projectile one more time. She let out a sigh and her whole body went limp. And that was it for me. I was completely done after that. I called her and she said, I called the doctor back and the doctor said, bring her in. I want to monitor her. And she said, you're completely hysterical, like as if I shouldn't be. It was
Right, exactly.
like, I should be calm at this moment? You just sent this home. And so I said, no, we're going to the emergency room now. We're not going 25 minutes back to you to monitor her. All the time wasted to come home. And we were actually should have went straight to the emergency room. And then that's when, I won't say too much because I don't know what questions you're going to ask, but after we went to the emergency room, that was started the day. That was the day that everything started.
So she has this very severe brain bleed.
Yeah.
And so one of the results was blindness, correct?
Eventually, yeah, they didn't treat the hydrocephalus where she was. So we went in there. When you look at the paperwork, the day we went in was October 12th, and it says severe hydrocephalus when you look at her medical report. So I have no idea how we got in with severe hydrocephalus, and nobody did anything. So they didn't treat the hydrocephalus. The bleed, obviously, we knew that the blood would dry up and the brain is plastic and it will dry up on its own. But the hydrocephalus, I didn't know anything about it. And I didn't know that she had hydrocephalus until way after. But they didn't do anything. So the pressure from the hydrocephalus caused her eyes to sunset, which sunsetting is when you can see more white than black. And her eyes started to drift over to the left. And I didn't know what was going on with that either. I had no idea she was blind. My brother got a picture of her, and he said he knew she was blind right away because he saw how her eyes were just set to the side. But the pressure from the hydrocephalus not being treated is what caused her to go blind.
Yeah, so she basically got a double whammy, a brain bleed plus the hydrocephalus.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did seizures start?
Ooh, the funny thing is seizures didn't start until she was 17 months old.
Okay, so it was later.
Yeah, way later, and seemingly out of nowhere. We had no idea. That wasn't even on our minds because we don't know that, brain things. It's our first child. We're not thinking of that.
Right.
And so when seizures started, I was actually 9 months pregnant with our second daughter. And then she had a seizure, and I was like, come on, Maya. Please, Maya, nothing else. Please. And so, that was a whole other thing in itself. And when they said, okay, if she has one, it's not epilepsy. It's just sometimes the brain rewires and fires and all the different things. And so we just stood on that. Okay, it's just one, no big deal. Then my girl had another one about 2 weeks later, I want to say. And they just started calling it epilepsy. And I was like, this cannot be a thing. Another thing while we're having a new baby, that now we have to watch her. And it only happened in her sleep. So you can barely sleep at night watching her. You have to watch her because you don't know when she's going to do it. It's hard. So she didn't sleep in the crib. The crazy thing is the day that she had the first one, we were building her new crib so she could have her room with her sister for the first time. We're like, they're going to have their room. It's going to be so great. We're going to set it up. And she went in the crib and she loved it. And she was playing in there. And we just thought, it was going to be so great. And then come to find out she did not sleep in that crib. I don't know if she ever slept in that crib. She didn't sleep in the crib because she had to sleep with us. So we had to
keep her close by.
Keep her close to feel if she was having a seizure or not.
Sure. For everyone who's joining late, I'm interviewing Klisha about the book she just wrote called Great Victory. I realize I never read the title of your book. Great Victory, A Mother's Faith, A Daughter's Fight, which is all about her experience with her daughter Maya, who suffered a profound brain injury in the first weeks of life. Klisha, when you got, you were in the hospital for months after the brain bleed and the hydrocephalus. 4 months. When they sent you home, did they give you any prognosis for the future? Did they say, this is what Maya's future is going to be like? Or what did they tell you?
It was always watch and see, but she might not catch up or she might not do this and she might not do that. She couldn't hold her head up when we got back home. She could see when we got back home. She got her, thank the Lord, he gave her back her sight at 3 months. And that was a day. That day was one of the best days we had at the hospital. And so she got her sight back, but she still couldn't hold her head up. She still had the feeding tube when we got home. Therapy was hard because she was on phenobarbital, which they forgot to take her off of. So the therapist that we had couldn't really move with her because she was so just floppy. The phenobarbital makes you like it. As you know, the medicine, the seizure medication numbs the brain. But I don't know. The crazy thing is she hadn't had seizures yet, so I have no. They thought she had a seizure.
They put it on probably proactively, thinking she
Yeah.
might have seizures. And I wanted to read your section of the book where you talk about the phenobarbital. For anyone who doesn't know this, phenobarbital is a very powerful anticonvulsant medication. It's often used to try to stop seizures, but it also has very strong side effects. It can reduce IQ. It creates lethargy, a lack of energy. It can affect mood. So here's what Klisha wrote in the book. So, what about the phenobarbital? I asked the doctor, and she said, "Oh, is she still on that? You can start weaning her off." Ma'am, what do you mean, is she still on that? Was she supposed to be off already? I think I called Martin right away with the news that they had essentially forgotten to take off the medicine. Right. So here you have a very young child on a powerful medication. They don't even remember that she was on it. I mean, that's wild stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I wanted to get your thoughts on, I'm also reading here. This is about Maya's early physical therapy.
Okay. Yeah.
I think this was still when she was in the hospital, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. You said Maya's physical therapy was really disappointing. Her body just wasn't responding. She had low muscle tone and she couldn't hold her head up. It was so heartbreaking every time she went to therapy. It got to the point where I let the therapist take her for treatment and I stayed in the room waiting. I just couldn't watch anymore. When I asked how she was doing, the therapist would just say, "We're still working." Talk about heartbreak. And I know you pretty well at this point, Klisha. So I know it must have been really heartbreaking for you to kind of distance yourself from it, for you to say, because I know how involved you are with
Yeah.
everything Maya treatment related. So it must have been really bad for you to just say, I can't even watch this.
She wasn't doing any of the things that they would literally put her in position and she couldn't complete any task that they were trying to get her to do. Reaching for anything, holding her head. It's so hard when your neck can't support itself and she couldn't sit up or anything. I mean, she was only 2-3 months, but those babies had some type of head control. She would just flop over all the way. So it was really hard for them to, like, especially the therapist by herself trying to hold this and then hold her head. It's only but so much you could do. But she never wanted me to help. So it was no point in being there and I couldn't help. And just watching her just not do well. They were very gentle with her. I trusted them, which I don't trust many people with Maya. And so I couldn't watch. I just said, I'll stay in the room and go pray. And then you come back and tell me how it went. And every time it was, we're still working. The physical therapy didn't reap any benefits at all. None.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell me about her vision. How long did it take her to start to gain vision?
When she was 3 months, she was at the hospital. It was a rehab hospital, not the first one that didn't treat the hydrocephalus. The second hospital, the rehab, which is Blythedale Hospital. They're fantastic. They had a baby class. So they had this big glass window and you could see all the babies in there just doing, it was so cute. You could walk by, all the babies are just doing their thing. They would go to class, I think 9:30 every morning. Miss Lisa would come in, get up, time to go to class. And I'm like, she's a baby. What are you clapping? It was so funny, but I loved her. So they went to class and I was standing in the window watching her in class. And I see they put a toy next to the baby next to her. And I saw Maya look at the toy. And I was like, did she just watch that toy go by? And then I saw her try to get it. And I was like, oh, I think she could see. And they had always put a mirror in front of her. And she kind of would like look toward the mirror, but not look at herself. And I saw her trying to like grab herself. Spencer, I almost passed out at that moment. I could not believe that Maya could see, because every single time, we had been praying that she was going to see, but every time that doctor came in there, she's not seeing much of anything every single time. And I couldn't wait for that doctor to come back. After that, that's one of my first thoughts was, come back in the room now. She can see. So I was so, I called my mom. I called Martin. I don't know how many people I called. I took pictures. I actually have the picture. It might be in the book, the picture of the moment that I noticed that she could see. It was so crazy. But I just thank God that he was able to give her back her sight, because when you look at her medically, if you look at her nerves are pale, as if she can't see. So when they looked at her on paper, it looks like if you were a doctor, you would say, oh, okay, yeah, she's blind. This patient looks blind, but she's not. And it was just, we knew it was God, and we knew it was a miracle. And it was so awesome to see. That was one of the first, I think, one of the first. We had a couple, first of many miracles that we've had, which Doman is included, and I'm sure you'll get to that. But yeah, one of the first.
Yeah, and to your point, when children start on our program, children who are functionally blind, it's very common that the parents are told your child has a pale optic nerve, right? And what that basically means is the optic nerve should be like a pinkish reddish color, because that means that blood is flowing to the optic nerve, right? And when it's pale, it means not a lot of blood is flowing there. The reason why, well, if an optic nerve, which is part of the brain's nervous system, right? If the optic nerve isn't working because of a brain injury, what's the purpose of sending blood to it, right?
Right.
If it's not working. So now what we usually do is we do very intensive visual stimulation. And as the child gets to see, right, the doctors will say to parents, it's a miracle, the optic nerve is repairing, it's getting red, woo, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's not, you know, it for most kids, this is the point I'm making, for most kids who are in Maya's situation with a pale optic nerve, it requires a ton of work to get that child seeing. So I think that's amazing that she got that visual ability. Klisha, are you still with me? Hold on, Klisha.
I don't know.
Hi.
I don't know what happened.
That's fine. I lost you for a second, but yeah, I was just saying it's amazing, given the pale optic nerve, that she was able to start seeing, without really any serious intervention, because, like you said, the doctor said there's not much. Not much.
They didn't do anything either.
That's
they didn't even do therapy at all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, by the way, besides epilepsy, did Maya get any other diagnoses?
Global delay. Some called it cerebral palsy. No, they just said that she had a grade 3 brain hemorrhage, and that she had a global delay.
When you got any of those diagnoses, global developmental delay, epilepsy, cerebral palsy, did anything helpful come with that diagnosis? Like, was it ever like, here's the diagnosis and here's this amazing miracle treatment that's going to help her? I'm kind of asking a leading question here, but you know, some parents might have a positive answer. Did you get any hope from the diagnoses or any answers?
No, we didn't get any hope. People are saying they're hearing an echo. Do you see that?
Not for me. Let me add Colleen here. Colleen, are you getting an echo?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. Is it from me or Klisha?
It's from Klisha.
Okay. Klisha, do you want to try leaving and coming back in?
I will. Sorry, guys. Let me do it one more time.
It's okay.
All right. Colleen, while we're waiting for Klisha to come back in, do you mind just giving contact information for anyone who wants to ask about Domen International?
Absolutely.
Like how they can get in touch with us. Yeah.
Yes, I think I have an echo too, but I'm not going to worry about it. My direct contact info. My email address is info@domeninternational.org. That is me. It doesn't go into some random box. My cell phone number is country code 1-814-232-8668. You can send me WhatsApp messages. You can text me. You can call me. If you don't know anything about the Doman Method and you're just joining us for the first time, please get in touch with me. I've got a lot of basic information to share to get you started. Or if you've been following us for a while and you're thinking that the time is right to schedule an appointment, please get in touch with me as soon as possible. We do have spaces available for the fall, but things are filling up. So it's a very good idea. Even if you're thinking several months in the future, do not wait until the last minute, because we typically schedule out 6 to 8 weeks in advance.
And I will say, thank you, Colleen. I'll
Yeah.
say also, if any parents want to ask Klisha any questions, go ahead and type them into the comments box. Klisha, do you hear any echo right now?
I only heard it for Colleen. I don't hear it from me.
Okay,
So
let's see. Well, maybe people can write in the chat if they hear any echo.
Okay, yeah.
We'll keep going, Klisha, until we get any feedback back. So I was asking. Okay, someone said your echo is gone, which is great news. Okay, so yeah, we were talking about the different diagnoses: cerebral palsy, epilepsy, global developmental delay, and I was asking, like, were you given any answers that were helpful with the diagnoses?
No, they send you home with wait and see and medication. That's what they send you home with. Yeah, wait and see approach. No intervention. They, early intervention, the PT to do, but the first PT that came to my house said to me, you're a great mom, you're trying your best, but she may never catch up. And I don't know why she offered. I still to this day don't know why she offered up the information to me that she may never catch up. And I, of course, said she will catch up, but thank you for the disclaimer. We got a lot of no people. Once she stopped walking, she wasn't walking at a certain time. They start to write you off and start to, just basically tell you that this is how it's going to be. And you have to live with how she is. That's it. You live with how she is. They don't give you any solutions. Diet. They gave us a diet. It was the keto diet. That was supposed to be a solution for her seizures. It was terrible. The keto diet is so much fat, lots of dairy. Her face was breaking out, and they would tell you, she might get a rash. She might gain some weight, but then some people lose weight. And she got so big on the keto diet. It was so crazy. People use it to lose weight, but Maya got plump. Her face would have rashes on both sides. Her face was so big. And it was like a processed food diet.
Yeah. Was she on formula at that point?
By that time, I wasn't giving her any formula, because when she was in the hospital, I was making sure that I would pump. And they wanted to add a fortifier, which was like a Similac fortifier, which I stopped immediately. No fortifier. So what we did was I ordered something called Baby's First Toddler formula, which I like the ingredients. And I said, is it possible to use this as a fortifier? They went through all this testing, and then they end up ordering cases of it. So that was the formula she was on, but never a full bottle of formula. Always breast milk with a little formula on the inside.
Got it. All right, so I want to talk now about your kind of journey to the Doman Method specifically. So you wrote here, I'm just going to read a couple of excerpts. So you said in the book, and by the way, for everyone joining late, I'm interviewing Klisha about her book, Great Victory, about her daughter, Maya. So Klisha writes, I had just gotten Maya to sleep for a nap. Nothing particular out of the ordinary happened that day, but as I held her in my arms, I remember crying out to the Lord and saying, if you are going to touch her and heal her, that would be great. But in the meantime, I need something. I need to see progress. I need something, God. That same day, I got on Instagram and saw an ad for a place called The Institute, started by Glenn Doman. Domen International did just what their name said. They work internationally. You could go in person or online. They have you read one of Glenn Doman's books, What to Do About Your Brain Injured Child. I found out they treat the whole child. So can you just talk, Klisha, a little bit? How old was Maya at that point when you found the program? And what were some of the biggest concerns you had at that moment for her?
She was 4, and she was not creeping or crawling yet. She wasn't mobile. She would kind of move around, but she couldn't get to, if she needed her toy, I would have to get it for her. She couldn't go anywhere. So obviously at 4, you want her walking, running. Speech was good. Her receptive language was really good. She would understand everything, but when she spoke, it was not as if a 4-year-old spoke. She was definitely delayed in speech, little speech impediment, certain things she was saying, people would have to ask me, what is she saying? And so I was concerned about the seizures. I was concerned about the mobility. I was concerned about her learning, because she did go to school a bit. And I didn't enjoy that experience that much either. They didn't teach much of, they taught her, but she wasn't retaining it. She wasn't really getting too much. She would repeat things, but I didn't know how much she was actually learning. I don't think her diet was helping. We did switch her diet once we got off the keto and tried to, because we had a holistic doctor, Dr. Salzarullo, and tried to make sure she was getting hemp and just certain things. But she was still getting all the fruits. She was still getting sugar, not a whole lot of sugar, because I know that it's not good for the brain, but her progress wasn't quick enough. If she did anything, if we saw anything, it wasn't what we did. We knew that certain things would happen, and we knew it was God, because we weren't working on that. And she would just know her ABCs. And we were like, who taught her the ABCs? And I had prayed to God also, please pick up where I lack, because I don't know what to do with her. I'm trying my best to teach her. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to start. And so one day she just knew her ABCs, and I know I didn't teach her, and the speech therapist didn't teach her. And we were like, okay, thank you, God, this is you. But if it wasn't God, it was just us pushing and trying to do something and not seeing any benefits from it. Even the therapy she went to a therapy upstate, and it was great. The lady worked so well with her. Benefits were minimal. And she was in an intensive. We went to Napa in Massachusetts, and they were great. It was an intensive, and nothing stem cells in California, nothing worked. It was absolutely insane that everybody would have a story about how the thing that we went to worked for them. And with Maya, we were like, well, what's wrong with us? This stuff is not working. It didn't work at all. So my concern was, is anything that we do going to actually do something for her? Because nothing is working, nothing.
So let me read something about your first appointment
Okay.
at Domen International. Again, for everyone joining late, I'm interviewing Klisha about her book, Great Victory, which is just newly published. Klisha writes here, she's talking about her first appointment at Domen International in Philadelphia, so she's just arrived. The first assessment was done by a woman named Jordan Ernest. She did the cognitive testing. This is just a side note, Jordan is one of our senior staff. So anyway, reading on what Klisha wrote, they were checking to see if Maya could read. I really didn't want to do this portion of the testing because I knew my child and I was sure she was not reading. The last thing I wanted to see was something else that she was not doing. Also, she was only 4 years old. Why would they be expecting her to read? Jordan held up these big cards one by one that said sister, brother, father, and mother. She puts them down and asks Maya, which one says sister? Maya picks the right one. She asks another question. Maya also picks the right one. At this point, my mouth is on the floor and Jordan is looking like just another day at the office. They explained to me that brain injured children don't always read the same as well children. Not all of them can speak, but that does not mean they cannot read. So that must have been a real shock.
That was absolutely insane. At that point, I was ready to move into the office. I think I said that in the book.
Yeah, you did. You said, yeah, sorry, I didn't read that part. You said you're ready to move into the office permanently.
I couldn't believe, I was like, I just felt this peace and calm right after that. And faith is what you don't see. But at that point, I saw it, and it made me feel so good to see. I just trusted you guys immediately. I trusted you immediately. It was, and I just want everybody to, at that point, I was like, okay, when I get home, I'm telling everybody about Domen. This is crazy. She can read. I think my mom was there, and my mom was looking like, what is going on? It was so crazy, Spencer. I don't know. I'm going back into the moment in my head, and I could almost cry. I was so excited to see that she could do something that might be even fit for her age, that she could catch up. Remember, I heard that she might never catch up over and over and over. And I had to pray about that and push those thoughts out of my head. And to see her doing something that looked like, oh, wait a minute, she's actually showing me that she might catch up instead of me just praying about it. I can see it. And it was so great. You guys changed my life that moment right there.
And, some people may not know this who are watching. So one part of the reading program is we use large red print to teach children to read. It's easy for them to see. Do you think the large print was helpful for Maya?
Oh yeah, I think that definitely made a difference. And those were huge. It was actually bigger than that one. It was like a card this
it was like
big.
really big print size.
Really big. And I thought that was so awesome. And everything you guys did, I kept saying, I never thought to do that. I never thought to do that. I never thought to do that. And it just, you guys think of everything, literally everything. And it was I had always given her the books that they give us. And the children's books, all the print, most of the time they're small. They might be a little bigger than regular print, but they're never that big. And she has never read anything. And as soon as I saw that, my mind clicked and said, maybe that's why, because maybe she couldn't see it. And remember, she did wear glasses. Maybe she couldn't see it. Maybe that's why she wasn't repeating. So it was great to see her do that. Yeah.
Amazing. You talk here about, you were given a staff coach, because every family that comes to Domen International is given one member of the team who's their staff coach. For you, it was Rosalind Doman, who's my mom. But you write here, once we had done all the assessments, this is at the first appointment. Once we had done all the assessments and Rosalind laid the program out for us, she says, so in 2 weeks when she's crawling, let us know and we will help you with the next steps. I'm thinking, not me, Spencer, this is Klisha writing. I'm thinking, confident much, lady? We have been to California, Rochester, Massachusetts, Hudson County, and we have tried supplements, therapies, and more. Crawling in 2 weeks? We left there with a full program and so much hope. We did everything they told us to. So how long did it take her to start crawling?
Spencer, 2 weeks to the day.
Yeah.
To the day. Telling you, I'm holding back tears this whole interview because this girl, she crawled 2 weeks to the day. I think I called Rosalind while she was still on the floor. I'm pretty sure I called her. I was like, she's crawling. What now? What do we do? What's the next step? I could not believe she was crawling. All it took was the incline floor. That's it. We put her on the incline floor. And it was, I think every couple of days we moved it up once she really got on it and she was sliding down, and then we just lowered it until she was on the, it was leveled.
On the flat.
And then once we put her on the floor.
Can you just tell everyone a little bit about the incline floor? Like, what does it look like? Why was it helpful for Maya?
So the incline floor looks like a wooden slide, but it's made specifically for kids that can't move. They're not mobile. So you kind of want them to feel like they're moving, and it does something to the brain, which Doman figured out, that you put them on this incline floor. It's a wooden slide and it's fit for their body. So you get the measurement, so they'll slide right down. You put it really high and they'll go down, and you clap and you make it like it's the best thing they've ever done. And then once you see they're sliding down easily, you lower it a little bit, and then they go down, and then they'll start working, maybe army crawling to get to the bottom. They can feel it in their body. And then once you get to the lower level, they just end up crawling across the flat floor. Once you get on that, you get them off of it, put them on the floor, and they spend like all day on the floor, even without the incline. They just spend all day feeling the floor, learning the floor, getting used to the floor, and literally they will start crawling. They will start moving. And Maya started crawling 2 weeks after she was 4 years old. We tried everything under the whole entire sun. 2 weeks later, this girl started crawling on the Domen program. And
when I was reading that section, because my mom, obviously, she's an amazing coach. She has 45 years of experience. She's my mom too. I'm biased, but
yeah,
she's one of the world's leading experts in mobility development for special needs kids. And I was reading that part, and as soon as I read that, I said, because we at Domen International, we don't usually make timed predictions for kids, right? We very rarely would say to a family, okay, in this amount of time, your child's going to achieve this, because every child is different and it depends on many factors. And so when I read that, I was like, okay, my mom knew. Like she knew Maya was ready for it.
I'm telling you, God
based on our
sent us.
experience.
We didn't even talk about how I saw the ad for the institutes,
Right.
which I found out later they don't really do ads. So I don't even know where the ad came from, but I prayed, and so I believe that the ad came from somewhere. And so you guys were just international, so I was able to just deal with you guys online. And the institutes, I couldn't devote the time. It would, I knew the program would be great, but I couldn't devote the time. And so she knew, I believe that she knew because I was supposed to be there. God sent us there, and we know that. And so she was just like, 2 weeks. That's what I said. And that's it. I was like, she was so confident. She sat back in her chair. Call us when she's crawling in 2 weeks. And I was just looking at her like, I'll give you a call. Sure.
Yeah, you're like, all right, crazy person. We'll see how this goes. That's amazing. So you write here, by the way, for everyone joining late, I'm interviewing Klisha about her book Great Victory, about her daughter Maya. Where's this book available, by the way, Klisha?
Amazon, anywhere books are sold. Barnes and Noble, you can get it from the website where the publisher is christianlivingbooks.com. Yeah, it's pretty much, if you Google it, you can find it, but Amazon obviously is the number one place.
Perfect. You write here, aside from the mobility program, Maya had math, reading, a diet change, and a breathing program that she had to do every day. You wrote here, we found out that a lot of children who are immobile can pass away from respiratory issues because of a lack of deep breathing. The program not only helps with the lungs and chest, but also with cognitive development and the brain overall. And this is the best part. Because of the breathing program, Maya was able to be weaned off of medications. We noticed she went 1 month without any seizures. 1 month turned into 2, and then the next thing we knew, she went for a full year. So what were her seizures like before the program?
About every 2 weeks, and sometimes every 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, it varied. Sometimes she would have them a couple of days back to back and then stop for 2 weeks, or a couple of days back to back and then stop for 2 months. You just never knew. They would come out of nowhere. There was no rhyme or reason. But the first one happened because of sleep deprivation. And if she was sleep deprived for any reason, she would have them.
How many medications was she on when she came for her first appointment? Do you remember?
Trileptal, sprinkle caps. I want to say 3 or 4. She was on Keppra, Trileptal, and Depakote. Yeah,
because I remember when I met you for the first time, which was online, I remember you saying, whatever number you said, my memory was 4, but it was a lot. It was something that even I was kind of shocked by. Because those are 3 or 4 powerful medications that a 4-year-old is on at the same time.
And she was on the max. Whenever you call them, and I would hate to call and say, okay, she's breaking through. They're like, okay, we'll just increase. Okay, we'll just increase. So they would just increase everything. And her liver started to suffer from the Depakote. Her enzymes were elevated, and they would just say, oh, that's normal for this medication. Kids have elevated liver enzymes on this medication. That's normal. I'm like, elevated liver enzymes are normal? We've got to do something else. This is absolutely insane. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's wild, the amount of meds and that kids are put on.
Yeah.
That also can have really problematic effects sometimes when they're put together. And this isn't me ranting about medications. Sometimes medications, very often they save lives. But I don't know if this is a little bit of a side comment, but I don't know if you've heard about this court case in, I think it's in New England somewhere, of a mom who killed her 3 children. She murdered her 3 kids. But she was on 13 different medications. And I was looking at them, and they're like 4 or 5 different anticonvulsant medications. So
depression medication.
They think she went they think she went into psychosis from medical malpractice. Basically, they just kept giving her medications without looking at the problems of, putting them all together. So
crazy.
It's wild. Okay. But getting back to the point about seizures, do you feel it was just the breathing program that helped resolve that issue for her? Or do you think there were other things you started that helped?
The diet too. The diet, the low sugar. Maya doesn't have dairy, soy, wheat, gluten. All her fruits are low glycemic. Well, she can only have berries, really. She can't have oranges, can't have citrus, because Dr. Aravind, which I love so much, I wish he were on. Dr. Aravind just knows. And so tomatoes, I would never think that Maya couldn't be on tomatoes. Why? But he knows it's going to do something. She can't have watermelon. Why? He knows she can't have certain sugars. And so I learned that when she ate those, like at one day we went to church and somebody, when she was in Sunday school, they gave her watermelon. Oh my gosh. The next day, she had a really bad, really long seizure, like a 15-minute one. And she hadn't had that in a long time. So certain things trigger seizures. And I guess it's different for every child. But Dr. Aravind knew, once reading her and learning everything about her makeup and getting the blood samples and the stool samples and the urine samples, that she shouldn't have certain things. And so the diet is a major factor, because the gut and the brain are connected in more ways than I would ever have thought. So she's on the cleanest. I mean, this girl, we had COVID and she had COVID too. And she was looking at us like, so sad, too bad. Sorry, you guys are feeling this way. She breezed through COVID. And even at the doctor's office, she doesn't have allergies. All my kids have some type of allergy. They tested her for all the tree allergies and everything. The doctor was laughing. She was like, I've never seen a child come back with zero. She has no allergies, like
Wow.
Nothing. But her diet is so clean. She has a leafy green with every meal. We switch out oils. We switch out leafy greens. She eats so well. Everything's made, no preservatives, no. And it sounds so hard, but I thought that I was like, what is Rosalind talking about? And what are these people talking about? I cannot do this diet, but it's easy now. Like, I'm so used to it. It's second nature. It was daunting at first. It was really, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make all her food, her snacks too. I can't just go to the store. Your mom said anything in a package that has more than 5 ingredients. I was like, 5, everything has more than 5 ingredients. And so I learned that I have to read everything. And that changed our lives too, because we started reading everything for us. And then you start seeing contains bioengineered food ingredients. You're like, oh my goodness, I never saw that before. And so I don't know how I got on this whole rabbit hole about the food, but yes, the answer, Spencer, is yes. The food and the breathing program changed that. But also, I think the cognitive program did too.
Well, it's funny because as you were talking, your husband jumped on, and he said, "I'm under the impression that the cognitive program also helped with the seizures."
See, that's why we're married.
He's fact checking you.
It did. Her brain, other parts of her brain, was moving and growing, and I believe that she's grown some new cells in there that they said would never grow back. The cognitive program definitely helped.
And it's possible, because when seizures occur, they occur in the cortex, which is the highest level of the brain. And when you teach a child to read and do math, you're developing the cortex. So I mean, potentially, it could help. Yeah. Amazing. So what are besides seizures, you mentioned mobility, what are other big gains you've seen with Maya over the years?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start. Mobility, she's on the walking program now. So we have a big brachiation ladder in her room. So one thing I would say about the Domen program, you just got to let go of your house. It's okay. Just let go of how it looks. Keep it tidy, but let go, because these things are not small. The incline floor is not, it's a slide. It's a big slide in your house. Find room. The brachiation ladder, that is like a gym in your room. Just make room. It does. And the thing about the program is, like your dad always says, it does not work if you don't do it. So you literally have to let go of your child's knees looking nice. Their knees are not going to look nice anymore. Their knees are going to be ugly, but they're going to be crawling. They're going to be mobile. It doesn't matter. Like your dad said, there's no princesses. There's no princes. We just do the program. You literally have to take everything out of your head that you ever learned about anything, physical therapy and all of that, just remove it. And everything else will come into play once you start doing the program. You'll see how everything works. It is it's comforting to know that, and not just for me, for other parents, I meet so many of them, to know that this is a program that actually gets people from not walking to doing marathons. from not talking to being a lawyer, from not, it's just so crazy, and so crazy that I forgot the question that you asked me, because I can go on and on about Doman.
I was just asking generally, like, what are the areas you saw progress in?
Everywhere, everywhere. I saw progress in even the foods that she ate. She likes everything. Her speech, oh my gosh. She was talking, but the things that she said and the clarity, the mature things that she would say, and I can't think off the top of my head the things that she says, but she says a lot of stuff. The other day she said, I said, why did you say that? She was like, I wasn't saying it like that, mommy, just in general. And to hear her say just in general, I was like, wow, that's such a mature thing to say for her, specifically because of what she's been through. The things that she does, the creeping, the crawling, the walking program, um, um, her math, reading, and don't get me wrong, I don't have it right all the time. I call all the time, like, Spencer, this is not working. I fell off the program because we have 3 other kids and I don't know what to do. And so even when you don't do everything, it still works. It works better when you do every single thing. But if you do something, it still works. And I noticed that the program works when you go to physical therapy. If you do a little bit of physical therapy, it doesn't do anything. You have to do a lot. You have to really push. You have to be there. With Domen, if you do as much as you can, something will change. And so everything changed. When we first started, we would do everything all the time. And then as we got more kids, we changed things. She got older, she got heavier. It's a little harder to do things. And so I have to say, I have not been able to do the program from top to bottom, but I still see gains. I still see, I can give her a book and she knows a lot of the words, may not know all the words, but she knows a lot of the words when we read together. Her brain has changed so much. Even her vision has changed. She always pretty much had good vision, but she can converge now. She had a problem where she was not converging. And now she can converge. She can look straight on. She can creep really fast. She's climbing over obstacles. She's pulling herself up. Even, when a child begins to stand and they pull themselves up to stand. For the past 2 weeks, actually, I was going to call your mom. She's been pulling herself up. I have to be there. She keeps pulling herself up on things. Like, okay, mommy, I'm going to stand up now. Okay, mom, I'm going to stand. So she's almost like her brain is ready to start the process. Yeah. So all around, she's doing really well. She's doing really, really well. The program has helped her in every way possible.
So we've got maybe 5 minutes left. If anyone wants to ask Klisha any questions, type them in the comments box now, and hopefully we can get to them. I'm interviewing Klisha about her book, Great Victory. It's available on Amazon or on Barnes & Noble online. Klisha, one of the reoccurring themes of the book, I don't think you necessarily meant to make this a theme, but as I read it, it was noticeable, was your own persistence. You're just never giving up and continuing to look for answers. And I do feel sometimes that there are parents with kids with special needs in situations similar to Maya who are kind of, because they don't have confidence in themselves, they're kind of sitting and waiting for an answer. You understand? Like, kind of like there's an expert out there who's going to solve all my child's problems, and I just need to wait until they kind of arrive on the scene. And I think there's, but anyway, I guess what I want to ask you is, what drives you? Because you traveled all around the country trying to find different things. It took you a while to find Domen International. Like, what would you say to a parent who says, Klisha, do I really need to get involved? Do I have to, what would you say to that kind of parent?
I mean, who's with your child more than you? There's no one with them more than we are. So if you can do something with them most of the time, then it's going to work because you're doing it so often. I can't, particularly me, I can't sleep if I wouldn't be able to sleep knowing that I'm not trying my best for my child. That doesn't make sense to me. Watching her not be able to do stuff and then not trying to help her do the things that she's not able to do makes no sense to me. But I also know that it can be hard to watch. And sometimes it's so hard that you can't even push yourself to do anything. And I get that. Jesus doesn't allow me to do that. The Lord gives me all the push that I need. It's a lot of strength needed and it's a lot of faith needed, because I know that if it's like I said in the book, if he doesn't touch her and just heal her, because I've seen so many miraculous things where people just get up out of wheelchairs and they walk because God did it. If that's not his story, that's not the way he's going to use her and touch her, then I know that that Domen, because I've seen it and I know I prayed for Domen to come, that it's going to work anyway. But I do completely understand that sometimes it gets overwhelming, and I get overwhelmed all the time. I have 4 children and I'm trying to do all these things with Maya, and I homeschool and doing all these things with the other kids as well. But if you could just see the progress always makes it better. Once you see the child change in any way or capacity, because every win is a win, every victory is a victory. Once you see the child change, it makes you want to do more. Like the little changes, it just makes you want to do more. So I would tell parents to just try it. I tell parents all the time, like, listen, I'll pay you if it doesn't work. I tell them all the time, I'll pay. If Domen doesn't work, I'll give you money. Where's the money coming from? I don't know, but I'm going to find it, because I know that it's going to work. I'm not going to have to pay you a dime, because if you do the program, it will work. It always works. If you don't do it, like I said, if you don't do it completely, if you can't find the time to do it in total, I get it. I don't have the time now to do every single thing, but try your best to do a bit of the cognitive, a bit of the mobility, a bit of the breathing is one thing we don't stop doing. Hands down, we do the breathing every day. The diet is very important. Try it. Try the program. Try the program. I don't even know what else to say. I really wish I found it sooner. I wish I found it when she was a baby, because after 5, the brain doesn't grow the same. And so I wish I found it when she was a baby. So we had 5 years to do the program. And I believe now, if I would have found it when she was a baby, I believe she would have been walking already. She's getting there now, thank God. But just do the program. I can't say anything else, but do the program, try the program. Do not let your self-confidence has nothing to do with it. It's nothing that they can't teach you, nothing that they can't troubleshoot. You call them and tell them something is not working. They've seen it all before. They've been doing this. How long you guys been doing this? Almost 70 years?
70 years, yeah.
70 years. They've seen it all before. They have not seen, whatever your child is dealing with, more than likely they've seen it. Whatever problem is not working, more than likely they've seen it. I've called them over the past 5 years with numerous issues, and it's been troubleshooted. They have a solution for almost every single problem. So like I tell every parent that I speak to, just try the program. Just try it and see.
We just received 2 questions. This might be the last question that we can answer.
Yeah.
Farah Budd is asking, how do you stay strong mentally and stay positive when the professionals were being so bleak about her prognosis? And I want to just follow this up, Klisha, because you said something before about how even when you've been doing our program, there have been up times, there have been down periods. You had to step away for a little while. You have 3 other kids that you've got to devote. So what is that, even when things have gone better with the program, you're going to have ups and downs, right? So what do you do to kind of just keep yourself going? How do you keep yourself going?
This is not going to be the generic answer for everybody, but I pray. I ask God to give me the strength. I ask the Lord Jesus Christ to give me the strength every night before we go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, you need the strength. There's no way I can do this without him. So I ask for the strength. For those that are not believers, I would implore you guys to try him out. But if you are just wondering what I do, your children can give you strength too. Looking at them, seeing them. This is serious. This sounds cliche, but literally your children can give you strength. Again, seeing the little progress and knowing that, okay, when I was doing the program really, really heavy, she was progressing really fast. Okay, that just reminding yourself it works. That's how I get through. And even when we were in the hospital, I had to block that out. I had to block it out, because you telling me my child is not going to. I know multiple stories where children have been worse than her and made it through. And so I prayed, I asked God to show me visions of her doing the right thing. I had a family around me. We had friends. My husband was fantastic, praying over her and everything. So we just found the strength. My best thing is don't listen to all the negative. Don't listen to it. You fight and you continue to If you pray to the Lord. If you continue to just believe that your child is going to do more than what they're doing every day. Take it day by day, and I always say today, next week, you won't be feeling how you felt today. In 2 weeks, you won't be feeling how you felt today. So just look ahead to when the child is doing more and doing better, because they will improve, especially on the program.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, you reminded me, my grandfather used to have a Latin phrase that he would keep up, which was sic agimus ergo verum, which means we know it to be true because we do it. In other words, I don't
Yeah.
need any other proof besides what I've done and what I've seen from it,
Yeah.
So yeah, the fact you've achieved results in the past can be a powerful motivator to just keep going.
Yeah.
Even when you run into hard times. Well, Klisha, I can't read all the positive comments that people are leaving, but they are all very, very positive. I also know you and Maya have a lot of fans out there.
Supporters. Maya makes people smile, so she has a lot of supporters. And I think I can't see everybody, but anybody that came on that I contacted to come on. Drea. Hi, Drea. Her daughter's on the program too. Her daughter Journey. Hi. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you guys. I'm trying to see. I know I look like an old lady right now. I'm trying to see the comments. Thank you guys for coming on, for the encouragement and support. I'm gonna watch this back later and then read all the comments.
Yeah. All the comments will be there on Facebook and YouTube, so you can check them out. All right. So just one last time, everyone, you can get Klisha's book, Great Victory: A Mother's Faith, A Daughter's Fight. It's a great book. It's an easy read. There's a foreword by the actor Donnie Wahlberg, so I highly recommend the book for everyone. And I have to say, the Domen program is a part of the book, but it really is an entire, a whole journey. Really, Domen International appears toward the end. So I highly recommend this book for everyone. Any final comments, Klisha? How can people follow you anywhere online?
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, you guys, it's Klisha Peterson everywhere. Instagram is Klisha Peterson. Facebook, Klisha Peterson. I don't think there's anybody really named Klisha Peterson in the world. Maybe not. I don't know. TikTok, Klisha Peterson. And hopefully the book, if you do get it, it encourages you and blesses you. And hopefully my content, my page will encourage you and bless you as well. And God bless you guys, all of you. Domen, I love you guys absolutely so much, but you know that. Thank you for everything that you've done. And I really hope that more people come to you guys and see that they don't have to live with what the doctors are saying. So love you guys so much.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. I'll just finish off by just sharing our contact information. You can learn more about scheduling an appointment at Domen International by writing us at info@domeninternational.org. My colleague, Colleen Hudson, who I'm pulling up on the screen, will be the person who responds to you. Or you could message or call Colleen at +1, which is the U.S. country code, 814-232-8668. And just to let everyone know, next week we have another good topic coming up. We're going to be talking about how to improve your special needs kids' sensory difficulties. So that'll be a good topic. Klisha, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you so much. This was good. This was fun.
We'll have to do it again soon.
Yeah, next book maybe.
Next book. There you go. All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay, bye guys.